So I just recorded a 6-minute video and accidentally deleted it. And I think that's the second time that's happened. I'm still kind of on the learning curve. But I felt 6 minutes was too long anyway, so this may be better to be redoing it. So for my project, I interviewed Miss Kathy Brewer, who's been working as a school counselor for 18 years. She works in Browning, at Browning Middle, and more recently, in the past few years, she started working at Browning High School. She also has an MFT, which is not uncommon in smaller communities for people working in the counseling field in one area to also serve another area because the communities don't have the kind of variety that bigger urban centers do in the caseworkers and therapists. She felt that, oh, and by the way, Browning High School just got a contract for like $1 million renovation in the past couple of years, and it looks amazing. As much as it's very modern and technological, they also made an effort to incorporate native style architecture, and most of the classrooms take place in circles. It's quite awesome. So the biggest issue that she identified was not really super surprising. It was substance abuse. What I did find a little surprising was that the primary substance of abuse that she finds that the kids are struggling with is not methamphetamine, but actually prescription pills. And we talked about what she might see as the two main reasons for that. And one is, the unscrupulous doctors and the diversion of pain medicine from ordinary citizens, in exchange for money or barter for goods, because for some people dealing with pain is a small price to pay for having food for your family, so they'll sell them to somebody waiting outside the pharmacy if that opportunity presents itself, which she says it kind of regularly does. But she said the bigger reason that she feels this happens, and I certainly concur, is the historical trauma suffered by the Blackfeet community and the learned helplessness and social isolation that leads to a kind of sense of disillusionment or apathy, if you will. And what I found interesting was that it compared a lot to some of the youth that I've worked with in the inner cities, sense of having society's turned its back on us. So why should we obey society's policies? And even though there are some fundamental differences between the inner city and the isolated rural areas, I thought there were also some pretty interesting similarities aside from the differences. So we talked a lot about the roles, the ASCA roles, and she felt that collaboration, and I can tell she's really good at it, she's a very gregarious, friendly person, was fundamental, and she's said that she's actually gotten into working with Hutterite communities just through random collaboration, and one person who knew another person, but it's all in the effort to sort of help the community, which I found really exciting and inspiring. But she did say it can be an uphill battle with administration to get things like groups going for substance abuse because of anonymity problems. She raised the point, and I also saw in one of my papers, about conflicts between the school's official drug policy and actually trying to treat substance use amongst students, because the school's drug policies are usually created by administrations and boards. They don't yet generally consult the community, and by and large it seemed to me like they mostly just talk about how they're going to deal with kids who use drugs and the problem of drugs, as opposed to the treatment side of things. So I found that interesting. I also found really interesting, one of the papers I read was about social justice, the perspective of people about a just world, whether as related to whether or not they have a formal religion or a religious orientation or a spiritual ideology. And I thought that really related to what she was talking about, sort of the disillusionment and learned helplessness as a result of the historical trauma, kind of being separated from your original spiritual beliefs and then sort of forced to practice Catholicism or Protestantism, and then reuniting with your original community possibly, and trying to integrate the two. So that's enough to, I think, stress anybody out. So I found it, really informative, and I'm really excited about the potential future of doing more work with Miss Brewer and at this school in Browning. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. This time I was only 5 minutes, not 6.